Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrick Donnelly with the NWSL. Welcome to the 2018 NWSL Championship Preview Press Conference. I would like to invite at this time NWSL Managing Director Amanda Duffy to the podium for a special announcement.
Thank you, Patrick. Welcome, everyone. On behalf of NWSL, we are excited to announce and to congratulate Lindsey Horan as the 2018 NWSL Most Valuable Player.
Great. At this time, I'd like to welcome Lindsey to the stage. First, Lindsey, congratulations. And if you could begin with your thoughts on winning the 2018 NWSL MVP.
Yeah, obviously it's a huge honor for me. I think, this year has been incredible for our team. It's been a roller coaster ride, and I think we've dealt with so much adversity and injuries and et cetera. So I think, credit to my team and what they've done this year, to get us to this point. And I thank them, and I'm so grateful for them and the staff to, they pushed me hard every single day, and they've gotten me to this point. So it's just an honor to receive this award with my team behind me and my staff behind me. And again, the players that were up for this, McCall, Pino, Sam, and Lynn, they're incredible. And it's just an honor to be amongst them as well.
Thank you, Lindsey. We will now open the floor for questions from the media. Please be sure to give your name and media outlet prior to asking your question. So we'll take our first question for Lindsey. If you want to raise your hand. Yes, go to Jonathan.
Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Lindsey, when this year started and you thought about what your potential might be and sort of had, I'm sure, a lot of conversations with Mark about what he wanted from you and what you wanted from yourself, did you figure it was all going to go this incredibly well, both for club and country?
No. I think what Mark's done for me this year and the past season and the first season has been incredible. The player-coach relationship on and off the field is so important to me, and the confidence that he's instilled in me has been remarkable, and I thank him so much for that, and that goes for the rest of the staff as well. But I think, it hasn't been all, rainbows and butterflies for me throughout the last 3 seasons, and we can all say that going through our career, but, he stood by me every single day and pushed me harder and harder every single day. So, we've been through a long journey together, and we hope it continues tomorrow.
Okay, we'll take our next question in the center.
Caitlin Best, Stumptown Footy. Marcus talked about you coming into this season really prepared, really having done your sort of homework in the offseason. Can you talk a little bit about how you felt you prepared for the season over the offseason and how that impacted how you're playing right now?
Yeah, I think I focused a lot of, what I was doing about off the field kind of things, not necessarily just focused on the ball, but, doing everything that I could, for my game, but, strength and conditioning and fitness-wise, what levels I can get to there, and really took into account that it was so important for my game. So the off-season was the best time to be doing that, not during season. So I really took that into account this past off-season, and I tried to stay as focused as I possibly could, and I think that really has helped me.
Okay, we'll take our next question. Second row on the inside.
Dan Lauletta, the Equalizer. Lindsey, congratulations. Can you talk about how Tobin being on the field and all the attention that she draws and her ability to hold the play up has helped you with your ability to get into the box and take her service?
Yeah. Well, one, I personally think Tobin is probably the best player in the world right now. I think the things that she can do with the ball and off the ball and her technical ability is, world class. So, me being on the same field as her just gives me this calmness, and I know that I can get her the ball and she's going to do something special every single time, and I know she's going to work hard and be that player for our team. So, having her on the field just is incredible for me, and, she's a role model for me and one of my all-time idols, and I say that every single day. So, again, she helps me so much on and off the field, and, she is a true friend to me and almost like a big sister, little sister relationship.
Okay. Next question in the back.
Security. I don't know who let him in here. I know who has the worst jokes, but we won't name him. I think Nadine is probably the all-time greatest. Our pregame speeches, she's definitely the funniest member of our staff. No one even comes close. He's good, not great. He tries really hard. We like the effort.
Okay, please raise your hand if you have a question for Lindsay. Yes, go ahead.
Joe Becker from K2. Lindsay, where does this rank in your career of thrills?
Honestly, I really haven't been able to take it all in. I think right now I'm more focused on our game tomorrow, so I think that's the most important thing for me is winning this game and winning it with my team. And obviously it's a huge honor to win this award, but I feel like I can't really celebrate it just yet. I want to, be able to celebrate it after this game tomorrow, and, doing that with my team is so special. So hopefully I'll be able to take in everything afterwards.
Okay, next question in the center.
Jacob Cristobal, Sounder at Heart. Lindsay, congrats. You just recently released your own T-shirt, The Great Haran. Are you going to have to update that with the MVP significance?
No, I mean, this is just a recent thing we're doing with our national team. So it's really cool that we're able to, show off some of our players and get out these T-shirts. And if you really want one, it's in my bio.
Okay, next question. Any further questions? No? Okay. With that, I'd like to thank Lindsay for taking the time to speak with us today, and once again,
Thank you.
congratulations on the MVP award.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we'll take a brief break, and then we'll begin the NWSL preview press conference with North Carolina Courage head coach Paul Riley. Okay, welcome back everyone to today's 2018 NWSL Championship Preview Press Conference. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce North Carolina Courage head coach Paul Riley. Coach, if we could first begin with your overall thoughts looking ahead to Saturday's championship.
Yeah, well, obviously, I think both teams are looking forward to it. I think it's the two best teams in the league, probably two best teams in the best form in the league. So, we've done well against them this year. We match up really well against them, I think, and I think the top four teams also made the playoffs. I thought Chicago was a tough one for us with the matchups and that, and I think we're excited to play Portland. But the regular season's washed away at this point now. It goes down to 90 minutes, and I think we've been pretty consistent with the season in terms of not losing or tying games. 3 or 4 on the run. We've kept it to a minimum, and I think the performance has improved as we've gone through the season. I think we're a lot better today than we were when we started the year. And I think everybody's looking forward to this, to play in front of 20,000, screaming, booing fans for us, but screaming fans for the other team. And we've had good success here. I think the hurricane obviously forced us to play the game here, and we've been here 5-6 days when we probably wouldn't have been here 5-6 days. So I think it's probably helped in the preparation. We ended up with a Tuesday. Had we lost Tuesday, we might be talking different. But with a win on Tuesday and playing here and a couple of practices here, and obviously we played here a couple of months ago, which was a good win for us. So I think the team feels comfortable inside Providence Park, if there's such a word as comfortable in Providence Park. And I think we're excited. There's nothing like that eerie feeling when you score a goal in Providence and it gets very quiet. So we're looking forward, hopefully, for that moment. But we're excited for the final. I think it's going to be a great showpiece, and hopefully it's it's a worldwide audience that both teams perform like they can.
Okay, we'll now open the floor for questions from the media. Please be sure to give your name and outlet before asking your question.
Jonathan Tannenbaum from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Paul, since you brought it up, with the hurricane and everything that this team has gone through in the last week and a half, how much fuel has that put on the fire for this team, and is there still a little bit of anger left that's
I think
you guys tomorrow?
It's nice to come in as the underdog. When you have our record, we thought we wouldn't be the underdog, but I think with what's gone on with McCall getting injured and the hurricane and the home game getting moved, and I think we've convinced everybody it's the world against us, and that's the way we're approaching the game, and it will be like that, I think, in the cauldron of fire come Saturday afternoon, and I think the players are ready for it, and something they're looking forward to. I'm happy Portland's in the final, to be honest with you. I think it makes it better for the whole league and worldwide audience to see what the crowd really like in America and what atmosphere we can bring to a women's soccer game, and I think both teams are really looking forward to playing each other. There's some great matchups on the field, but I think we've gone through a lot the last week, and Tuesday was tricky for us. We got rid of our jitters. We had a lot of jitters, I think, on Tuesday, and the preparation for Tuesday wasn't as good as it could have been due to the weekend. We trained in pouring conditions, windy conditions in North Carolina, so we were grateful to get out on Sunday afternoon, and the plane journey was rough, to say the least. The first half an hour up in the air, and everybody was grabbing seats. We were the only people on the plane, so we were grabbing seats and holding on. But we made it here, and I think the extra preparation of being in Portland in the hotel and being around the field has helped us, and now we're looking forward to the game.
Okay, next question in the front.
Hi, Paul. Steph Young, Stars
Hey,
and
Steph.
Stripes FC. So, speaking of the hurricane and all the, media hoopla around it, you retweeted something that called NWSL media lazy and whiny. What was your intention in doing that? And
I'm not going to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the football team. You want to talk about that's great.
Do you
I'm not
think
going
the
to.
treated North Carolina unfairly this season?
I have nothing to say about it, to be honest with you. I want to talk about football. You want to talk football? I'm in. All in.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go to our next question in the second row.
It's nothing to do with the final.
Hey, Coach. John Haller, an Equalizer. Any time that we have an opportunity to talk to your players, they speak about the faith and the trust that they have in you. And I'm just wondering, when you came into this team, obviously things weren't at a high point in the club. And how did you establish that? And what has kind of led to that relationship that you enjoy with your players?
Yeah, I think the culture part is huge. It's a lot of buzzword in soccer these days is culture. I think one thing is living it for, just during the season, but I think it's living it all the time, whether it's off the field, on the field, in hotels, in the airport, whatever it is. And I think there's a great trust amongst the group. you don't get good timber in a place where there's not a strenuous environment. You need a strenuous environment to get good timber, and that's the trees you want, and that's how you build. You need deep roots, and I think we've got really good deep roots. We've been together for 3 years. I think it's built over those 3 years. We've been able to add good pieces like Merritt and Crystal Dunn, obviously, and Sullivan and these players, and they've come in, and no matter where they've come from, they kind of just got on board and understand what it's all about and the philosophy, and we don't talk about championships, we don't talk about points, we don't talk anything, but we want to play like champions. We want the performance to be like champions. We want them to think like champions. We want them to think those things that are important for a professional player. And I think for me it was easy when I first came in. It was just making it fun for them again. I think it wasn't fun when we first came in, and that's really what we started with. And now the evolution of the team has been unbelievable, really, over the 3 years to see. I don't know if you want to go from Merritt Matess, Jaylene Hinkle to Lynn Williams to Abby Dalcampra to Sammy Mewis, and the list goes on, the improvements that they've made and what they've put in. And I think the older players like Jess Mack and Kiwi and McCall have been huge in, I think, educating the players how to be a professional, because when we got it there, they were all 22, and there was a mishmash of players, and some of them were not professionals at that time, and now I think looking 3 years back, they'd all tell you that too, and they've grown and grown and grown, and these moments is what you need. You need these type of moments, these type of championships to get better. Otherwise, they never get over that nervousness or that feeling of being under pressure, and I think it's good to be under pressure. I think teams do well under pressure and should have a little bit of pressure on if the athletes want to get better. And we talk about pressure a lot, and we talk about strain on your back and being able to carry the burden of only losing one game all season, for instance. You come into a game and, we were expected to get here, and I think that's why we were nervous on Tuesday night. I felt like, if we lost, I think the players thought there would be an underachievement, and now we've come to the last game, and anything can happen in the last game of the season. But, the culture's fabulous at the club, and there's a lot of accountability, and I think amongst the players, amongst the coaching staff, and you can't ask for anything more than that.
Okay, we'll take our next question.
Paul Danlalletta, Equalizer. Two-part question. Number one, do you expect a similar style game to last year? And the second part is, if you don't want that style of game, what can you guys do to prevent that from kind of devolving into what last year turned into? Well,
I don't think we were involved in that style of game last year. We tried to play, I just hope Portland come to play. They didn't last year. Now they're at home, I would think they'll come and play. It was a physical game last year. I think 90% of it was coming from their side of it. And we lost 2 players in the first half. Should have been a couple of red cards. I think it was a poor refereeing display last year, and hopefully this year there'll be a stronger ref in the middle. It's going to have to be in this kind of cauldron. So I think we understand that, and they'll be physical. That's in their nature, so we expect that. But we're going to play like we can play, what got us here, and I think that's really important for our team to know that. And we've talked about it a lot this week and over the last couple of weeks. And when we played Chicago, we said Chicago would have to play at their best to beat us, and they did play at their best, and they were really good, and maybe the better team on the night, but they still didn't beat us, So I feel like we've got a lot of heart and a lot of energy in the group, and we didn't do ourselves justice Tuesday night, so I think the players are looking forward to doing themselves justice, and I hope it's a spectacle. I hope Portland come out and play like they can play. They've got enough quality players to play and make it a really great game for everybody. What was the second part, or was that both? Okay, good, all right.
Okay, any further questions? Yes.
Charles Only, Backline Soccer. So you mentioned McCall Zerboni being out. I'm curious if you think that changes anything about how you approach the game, or do you feel confident in the system and the players who slot in, you'll be able to approach the game in the same fashion?
Yeah, I think obviously we've had a box all season, and there's always been somebody out of the box. Sam was out for 8 games. Sully was out for 4. Dabina for 4. McCall's been out for 5 games. Crystal's been out for 4 games. So there always seems to be one of them missing every time we play a game. So they've all played in that position. I think Crystal's probably played 14 to 16 games in the 10. So she's used to playing it, and I think we're pretty comfortable. But you can't replace McCall, if that was the question. You can't replace that. And so it would require, 24 players requiring 50% more on the 24 players, and we've only got 11, so it's impossible to replace what she brings, and her knowledge of the game and her reading of the game defensively, picking off her balls and all that good stuff, and we can't replace that. And Sullivan and Sammy have done well the other night. I thought they did well together, and Sully had 6 tackles, which is probably more than she's had in the last 5 games, so Sully's a little tyrant, and she's probably 98-pound wet, but she's a fantastic footballer, and she knows how to defend, and Sammy's, we spent a lot of time with Sammy this year and trying to improve defending. She wants to improve as a defensive midfielder, and I think that's important for the national team as well. And we spent a lot of time with Sam doing it, and the important parts of defending, because the other part of Sammy is very, very good, and that's another growth part for Sam, as it is for other players on our team.
Okay, we'll take our next question.
Hi, Tyler Nguyen, Stumptown Footy. A follow-up to the midfield question. Lindsey Horan, just named MVP. Her game has evolved so much over the course of the season. How do you expect that your attacking midfield in your box is going to be able to match up against her play, especially when she's on the ball, when she's doing so many dangerous things like she's capable of?
Yeah, Lindsey Horan's a class player. I absolutely love her as a footballer, knowledge of the game and what she brings, and she's got fight and grit and all those good things too on top of it. But I think you got to keep her around busy, Got to keep her busy at the other end of the field, on the low end, and I think with Crystal, Dabina, Jess Mack and Lynn Williams, she's going to be busy, and I think that's what we've done to Portland. We've forced her to play deeper against us, and we're going to try and do it again tomorrow. I think the more time she spends her own half of the field, the better for us, and we're going to make sure there's pressure on her and make sure it's difficult for her to play and get time and space. And but she's a great footballer. It's like trying to stop Tobin, or trying to stop Sam Kerr the other night. It's almost impossible, and you just do the best you can to relinquish it and give her space and time in areas that's not going to hurt you. But the other side of it is we've got to play the way we can play, and I feel like we're a better, more rounded team than Portland. We're not so individual based. They've got 3 or 4 very, very special players. I think we're more individual. I don't think it matters to any of our players who gets the credit. That's the type of team we are. So I think we're a little bit more well balanced as a team.
Okay, we'll take our last question.
Paul, as it relates to Sam, when she was out and coming back, I remember you saying that you were going to very deliberately take her slowly in coming back so that she would be ready for right now, which she has demonstrated that she quite clearly is. What do you make of that process now, looking back on it, and where she is, as she showed against Chicago?
Yeah, I think it was probably a good decision, a wise decision, looking back at it. And we took our time with even when Crystal came back from national team stuff and other players. Lynn Williams come back from an injury, but Sam was the big one for us. She didn't come in fit in the season, and we started a cycle with Sam where she'd play, not train and play, and I stopped the cycle. So we have to stop the cycle and make sure that you get the proper rest, and then we'll build you back in. We just can't keep you playing, and it just wasn't, the fitness wasn't getting any better, mentality wasn't getting any better, and no confidence at all. And we took our time with her, and it was a difficult time for Sam with the national team and with the club team. And Sam even came to me, she goes, Paul, I don't think I'm good enough to make the lineup. That was Sam's honesty with me. She goes, the team is too good right now. I don't think I'm going to get in the lineup. And I said, well, all you can do is keep doing what Sam Muse does best. And obviously, over the last 6 weeks, I think she's really, really started to play. And I thought the other night she's probably our best player, and with Abby Erzig. And she's massive for us. Nobody can do what Sam does. Size and ability to run with the ball out of the midfield, and obviously the shot. She had to put tape on the boot because she ripped the boot the other night. I think it was probably on the shot. But she's been great for us, and she scores goals and she creates havoc for the opponent. And she's a massive piece that we didn't have mid-season or before that. And I'm really proud of her and her mentality to get back in and get fully fit again.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today, Paul.
Thanks, guys.
Now we'd like to pause for a brief photo opportunity with both head coaches. At this time, we'll return to the press conference. It's my pleasure to introduce Portland Thorns FC head coach Mark Parsons. Coach, if we could first begin with your overall thoughts looking ahead to Saturday's championship.
Excited to see 2 very good teams, very talented teams, hard-working teams that that have obviously evolved a lot over the course of the last few years. I think both teams have had their own separate journeys, but both teams show a way to continue to move forward and grow and push limits. So it's set up to be a cracker. Excited and privileged just to be a part of it.
Okay, we'll now open it up for questions. Please make sure you give your name and media outlet before asking your question. So we'll start in the back.
Caitlin Best, Stumptown Footy. Mark, can you just say a few words about Lindsay winning the MVP award?
Yeah, really happy for her that people across the league, media, players, coaches have shown the appreciation for what she's done this season, because it's been nothing short of exceptional. I've said it a few times now. I think she's the only one capable of having the impact across so many different areas on and off the ball, offensive, defensive side this season, and she's probably the only one over the what we can see right now is available over the next 10 years to be able to do this again or surpass. She's an incredible player, more importantly, incredible person that has a mentality that just wants to improve all the time, and she's taken some risks in her career so far and trying to be the best that she can. And I said it in 16, I said it in 17, I'll say it again now. She is at a very, very elite level, and I think she's just getting started. She really is. And she'll say that herself. This is just the beginning for what she wants to be and how she plays. And the fact that she's doing the work of 3 or 4 players, the stats that 3 or 4 normally put up on good teams it's a great place to be when you've still got room to grow.
Okay, we'll take our next question.
Steph Young, Stars and Stripes FC. You actually segued perfectly into what I wanted to ask you, which is also about Haran. Given the level of competency that she's shown so far, you say she's just the beginning. Well, then to you, what does peak Lindsay Haran in her prime, like at the height of her powers, look like to you?
Well, you see from 17 to 18, in 17, at the end of 16, and you saw it in some of the big games there in 16, she would show up the biggest, and she continued that in 17. When she was needed the most in those intense moments like the championship game, she delivered. And what she's brought this year is a level of consistency where she's performing at that level every single week, every single game. Her training habits have continued to grow, and she trains at such a high level and demands to be pushed. And the fact that she's hit a year like this, when we've had some ups and downs and we've had the challenges we've had, she's been able to individually perform. It is a great testament to her mentality. Her mentality in the semi-final against Seattle was out of this world. I grabbed her the next day at recovery and said, Lindsay, we're going to be talking about your passing and your tackling, your mentality yesterday. And the goal sums it up. In the week before, she's building on her 18 and then finishing in their 18 in the same move. And then here she gets knocked down a couple times before this phase. Then she gets knocked down in the phase, gets back up, and is in the right place at the right time with unbelievable timing and technique on the header. So she's been more consistent this year. Her mentality has really grown. How can she get better? Every area of her game. She's always unhappy that she misplaced a pass, she misplaced a ball that could have released someone, or a switch of play. We haven't had the training time this year that we've had other years. Every team's been in that same boat with the schedule and how it's worked. And we've played a lot of midweek and Friday night games. We haven't had our 4 or 5 day rhythm we used to, and training's been interrupted. And the fact that she performed at this level while there's still things to fine-tune. So all the technical elements, the tactical elements, but her mentality and building to consistencies has grown a lot of the last year. So hopefully we have as many people available all the time and have a competitive 22, 23 as long as we can next year. And Lindsay gets to thrive in that environment even more and get to train with everyone throughout the season.
Okay, we'll take our next question.
One on the follow-up, if I may, Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer. On Lindsay, in addition to all sort of the other angles you've covered here in talking about her, did you figure that she was going to hit the heights this year that she has? And then I'll take the follow-up after that.
There was a moment, so this year, simple answer is yes. She's been doing this from 16, guys. We have a lot of individual talented players in Portland, and I hope that we're in a fortunate position to always, with the GM and owner that we have, that we continue to put together incredible roster, a group of players for us as staff to work with. She was doing this in 16. When I saw her next to in the midfield, sitting low, and then Mandine Henri came in later, and we pushed Lindsay into the 10 in 16. When we saw her low, the amount of distance and impact she was having on the game, we pushed her into the 10, and having her closer to goal is an exciting thing. And then in 17, we got forced into doing it in one game where we played her lower, and it reminded us of those flashes in 16. This year it was the full commitment. We wanted to play her in next to someone in holding midfield, give her the box-to-box role. Could she have the impact that she's had? Did I believe that 100%? I couldn't anticipate she would have the biggest, the amount of goals and the big-time goals. You know, early on the season we were missing a lot of people. She scored away in Chicago. She got on a roll. Her and Sink got on a big roll in that first third of the season. Lindsay, as always, gives a lot of credit to a lot of people. The role that Sink's played in supporting Lindsay, a lot of people. But early on this season, you know, Sink and Lindsay were two important people and leaders for us. And Sink, as always, unselfishly wants to always support other people and has given a lot to Lindsay. And any young player, especially a talented young player, having the access to someone like Christine Sinclair, is just a dream come true for a coach.
The follow-up is when you look across the field at Sam Mewis, who's also a very complete midfielder who can do it all. What do you see in her? Yeah,
all-round complete midfielder. It's great to see her playing at the level she is. Obviously, it seemed like a challenging year at the beginning with the injury, and it's exciting for North Carolina, the league, and the U.S. women's national team that she's at full health.
Okay, we'll go to the center for our next question.
John Halloran, Equalizer. This being a rematch of last year's final and one that was particularly physical, does it bother you at all when Coach Riley says that you guys didn't come to play last year?
I think you guys have had more experience than me. You can't you got to take a lot that Paul says with a pinch of salt. I think he puts on a show. It's very different. Obviously, with look at the way his team's performed. He's got those guys rallied and playing some good stuff and an incredible season. So I'm sure he's having fun with you guys. We've experienced it last year. We've experienced it this year. This is a very physical league and very intense. We got kicked around all season last year by North Carolina, and one of the things we had to do was match their physicality in the final. I've watched it back a few times unemotionally attached, and we got kicked as much as we managed to give out. And the worst one was on Tobin. I put a little bit of money that Tobin's the worst one to be kicked around tomorrow, because it happened in the last two games with Seattle. And it was a difference in the Seattle. In the semi-final, we couldn't compete with them physically. You know, the tackle that Nielsen put on Tobin, Utsugi put on Tobin, and Fishlock put on Haran, we were getting kicked around. And at half-time, I had to, guys, we're playing in the NWSL against a very good team. If we don't compete, we lose. If we don't put pressure on the ball and we don't do the hard work that it takes. And second half, we matched it. We jumped back in and we were competing and we were getting pressure on the ball. I don't think I've seen a tackle for a while in the league where someone looks like they're trying to hurt someone. And from our team, certainly not. We've been caught on a couple of late challenges this year. It's disappointing to see. There has been some bad ones, and for us, we've just got to continue to be smart and not put ourselves in a situation to get hurt. But we've got to be physical. We have to be intense. We have to put pressure on the ball. If you don't do that, you don't survive in this league. And at Carolina, amazing season, but the number one thing they do is they get in your face, and you can match it or you can roll over and accept a defeat. So we got to match that tomorrow. And you know what? If it's different and they don't do that, we would love it. We would absolutely love it, because then we get to play and we get to play soccer. And so we'll be ready for anything. I think the emotion from us being in this place and having the opportunity to play in front of our home fans on a league game, it's exciting, and a semi, it's exciting. Championship will tip it all. You know, we thrive off being in positions like this, and having the want to perform and having the want to do well for our fans, for the staff in this stadium that are there day in day out helping us. So yeah, I hope that we're up for it as much as ever, and we got to be ready to match and adapt to what the game gives us.
Okay, our next question in the center.
Hey, Mark, Dan Lawletta, Equalizer. Getting back to Sinclair for a minute. She is mid-30s, might be the all-time leading international scorer soon. literally never came off the field this season. New position. I'm wondering how much easier does she make your job as the coach, where it seems like she is maybe the most coachable player in this league despite her stature.
Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, most coachable player. One of the best people that you could come across. Her habits are so incredibly professional in the way that she attacks each day, prepares for each day, prepares herself and helps and prepares teammates. You know, senior players, young players, to look up to someone like Sink and know that the very best in the world is doing all the things you need to do, prehab, preparing for training, mentally preparing, and training at your best with your best effort and best focus each day makes it a lot easier. I have to remind less people that that's the standard. I can just point. Sink's had an incredible year for herself, a very, very important year for us. I know we can't read into the 11s too much. I was personally disappointed that Sink couldn't get in the first 11 because people keep writing her off. People keep saying that are the best years behind her, and she continues to prove those wrong. She's come in incredible shape. She's played every single minute. Some goofball didn't allow her to play every minute and took her off for 17 minutes last year. Otherwise, it would have been 2 years in a row. And she's played an integral role. When we start to overcomplicate things in the offensive third, it's Sink who reminds us that keeping things simple, making the best choice and the best decision that helps the team is what gives us our success in the final third. She kick-started us against Seattle in semi-final. You know, second half, at halftime, I got into him. I had the opportunity. First half, she was chasing down a ball near the end of the first half into the corner. There was no way she was going to make it. She slid in, trying to save a ball. And it was more psychological. She wanted to show the rest of us, we got to work today because they come for us. They're kicking us. They're running. They're pushing. They're shoving. We've got to work. She does that every day in training. She does that in games. She's in a very important season to us as a team, and individually, goals and assists and the role she plays in our number 10 is very important.
Okay, we'll take our next question.
Maria Berry, The Women's Game. Mark, can you tell us about the contribution and role of your Australian players this season and for tomorrow?
Yeah, it's, you know, losing Rasso at the beginning of the season was a huge blow. When we got Rasso back, it was cool to have the player back. She's an important player. She gives us something that no one else gives, with her work rate, her pace and quality, and the big goals she scored in 17 throughout our campaign. To miss her and get her back. The big thing is when we got her back this year, it was we got another Thorns winner back, someone who's been here for a couple of years, because we had a lot of new players, young players this year that are still learning what it means to be a Thorn and the mentality it takes day in, day out to play at this club and train at this club. So we got her, and she's a winner. And it was refreshing to have another player like that, because we lost a lot of those in the off-season, and we got great new ones that we're still working with. To lose her, obviously, a few weeks back, 3 or 4 weeks back, huge blow on the field, off the field. We've got the depth, roster-wise, to be able to continue moving forward. We've got the personalities to continue driving the group mentally. But for someone who's been, you know, who's turned up, been told by other people she's not good enough, been told by a national team that she wasn't good enough, then put in hard work for 2 years, continue to work, continue to train, videos, one-on-one, positional training, and then looked like one of the most dangerous strikers, wingers in the league last year. So crucial to us, especially with Tobin out last year. Came back, makes an immediate impact, injects the pace and the quality she brings. And then the Orlando away game was her best one, where she just run and ragged. And I remember the goalkeeping coach come to me after that game, and who was with me in Washington, said, "Wow, you know, what a player from 3 years ago." And I said, we train everyone the same here. She's the one who's made the most of this. So, you know, she'll be back soon. Things are moving along very slowly. Ellie Carpenter, what an exciting young talent. Her performance last week against Megan Rapinoe, outstanding defensively. What she brings offensively and bombing forward and creating opportunities, that's what we hope for tomorrow. Yes, we can have the defensive work that she provides, that she did, but we also want to get her going forward and creating mayhem, because she's one of the best attacking fullbacks we've seen in a long time, and she's doing this at such a young age. Yes, she's played a lot of soccer. She's had a lot of hours on the training pitch and a lot of hours around the senior national team and the W League. For us, she's shown growth in a short amount of time, and that trajectory is scary at the moment because it's going fast. Caitlin is at the end of pre-season. She's had 5-6 weeks, really, of training and playing. This is the end of pre-season. Has brought incredible intelligence, movement, threats in behind, threat into feet, combines really well, always looking to cause mayhem. You know, she created the goal, or created the opportunity to get in a good position last week against Seattle, received off the throw, got us across the pitch, which we hadn't been able to do all half, slipped into Lindsay, invited Lindsay into the final third before her and Tobin do what they do. Yeah, she's been very important, and we're excited what we're getting out of her right now, but without a doubt, imagine what she can do when she's not just at the end of 5-6 week preseason. What she'll be able to do next year. I think she's extra pumped tomorrow to have the big impact that she knows she can. And she missed the final in the W League. She's playing tomorrow in this final. So I'm glad to see, you know, again, adversity that gone through this team this year has been big, and Caitlin's gone through a lot and earned this opportunity to be playing tomorrow.
Great. At this time, that'll conclude today's 2018 NWSL Championship press conference. Thank you, Mark, for joining us today.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you for coming, and we look forward to seeing you at the 2018 NWSL Championship tomorrow at Providence Park. Tickets are on sale at NWSLchampionship.com and by calling 888-736-6849. For those fans who are unable to attend the match, be sure to tune in to Lifetime on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Pacific. Thank you.